Hi guys, it's Patricia and today is Tester Tuesday. It's the new fall and winter scents, round 3. We're going through 3 at a time this week. Now stay tuned at the end. If there's a little twist to voting, a special twist, please pay a close attention. So this week we had a pretty good turnout, 168 votes, so thank you so much. In first place we have the red wax of Candied Cranberry Pecan. This one had 26% of the vote. In second place, we had the vibrant green wax of Fiddle Leaf Fig, and this one had 20% of the vote. And in third place this week, we had the dark red wax of Blood Orange Spice, and this one had 18% of the vote. So the order, in case you're interested, it went Candied Cranberry Pecan, then Fiddle Leaf Fig, then Blood Orange Spice, then we had Be Merry, Grapefruit and Grenadine, and at the bottom we had Butter Pecan. So let's get into the first place scent this week. It is Candied Cranberry Pecan. Now, as you guys know, I usually warm testers, but here I have the bar. So it's always better if you can warm from the bar. I've been finding that out sometimes as I do Tester Tuesdays. So this is a new release, and it is in the bakery section. And I don't know if that's a great section for it, but that's where they put it. On cold, I would say it's a light to medium fragrance when you first smell it right out of the package. The description for this one is, classic cranberries and pecans are sweetened by sugarcane and a ribbon of brandied plum. So we have cranberries, we have pecans, sugarcane, and brandied plum. So usually cranberries are extremely tart and aggressive. This scent, it kind of reads a little bit more like a dried cranberry to me. And I think what's going on is the pecans, I don't really smell pecans. Let's just get that out of the, out there. However, maybe the pecans are in there and they're kind of dulling the cranberry. I don't know. The other thing that I think is happening is sugarcane is in there. And I find sugarcane is like a dusty sweetness and it kind of softens tart fragrances. So that could be what's going on in here. Then you have something called brandied plum. And plum can also be super aggressive and in your face. I don't find it's super aggressive in this, and the brandied part kind of gives this scent a tiny bit of spice and complexity. So I definitely can pick up a little bit of spice. It's not too bad, but when you put all those things together, what it reminds me of is a couple of things. Kind of 3 things. One thing I thought was, you know how they make fruit roll-ups? I think people can make their own fruit roll-ups, and that is what this smells like. It smells like you've got a little bit of cranberry, some plum, you've splashed some brandy in there, and you had some sweetness. You let it dry out, and then you were chewing it, and it smells and tastes kind of, well, I didn't taste it, but it reminds me of something that if somebody made their own dried fruit, and cut it into sections. I think there's dehydrators that do that. That's one thing it reminded me of. The other thing it reminded me of is sometimes when you go to a restaurant and there's like a fancy dessert and they put like a little fruit compote. So they might take like dried cranberries, little dehydrated fruits, they cut it up and they like simmer it in alcohol and sugar, like simple syrup. That's also what it reminded me of. And then towards the end of the warming, what it reminded me of, when I took it out of the warmers, it kind of had a smell, like a candy smell. Like a candy I've smelled at Christmas time with spice. I think I called it ribbon candy, but I don't know. So it does change a little bit. It's definitely fruity at the beginning, and I think you're getting more sugar cane, pecan, spice at the end. Now, how did this one do? So I put it in 2 spots. I put it here, 2 cubes here in my bedroom, 2 cubes here in my daughter's room, and I actually took 2 cubes and started making some samples. Okay, so when I got my daughter to smell the scents this week, and she picked this one. I'm just going to do her room first because she kept screwing up my test. She kept turning it off. I said, why are you turning it off? She goes, I don't really like it. I said, well, you picked it. And she said, I don't really like any of the scents you're giving me lately. So she's not really loving the new releases. But in her room, once I convinced her to keep it going, I left it going 5 days, 46 hours. This is a very long-lasting scent. Strength and throw is about 8 at max, then it starts to fizzle. Even when I removed it and I smelled the wax, it still had that scent. It smelled like the ribbon candy with spice. Here in my bedroom, Strength and Throw was also 8 in a 25-watt bulb warmer, 2 cubes. I left it going over a 4-day span. I totaled it up to 47 hours. And then it's starting to get really, really low. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? We got to call it a day. This one is one of those scents that will last. Now, if you're someone that likes kind of softened fruity scents with a little bit of spice, I think you're gonna like this. I would say you probably could warm this anywhere in your home. Maybe not a bathroom, but whatever you want, go for it. Now, when I saw that it was in the bakery section, I thought to myself, I don't get a lot of bakery unless it's used in those descriptions that I described. But I think this screams for a bakery edition. So if you took 1 cube of this and say 1 cube of like stroopwafel or sugar cookie, it might kind of give you almost like a cranberry muffin kind of vibe. And I am really looking forward to trying that. I'm going to use my 2 cubes and experiment, and I've also got another bar in there. So that leads me to the last point. Will I repurchase this? It's not exactly a home run in my book in terms of scent appeal. I am not an extreme lover of fruity scents, and I think cranberry scents have kind of gone down in appeal for me. However, this one is getting great feedback. People are loving it. It's a great performer. I think we'll see it return. It's a solid scent. The second scent for this week that we're going to discuss is Fiddle Leaf Fig. This is also a new release, and they put it in the fresh category. And I 100% agree with the fresh category for this one. On cold, this scent is strong. So, the scent description for this is a botanical haven brimming with wild fern, mission fig, and hints of crushed rosemary and coconut water. So we basically have wild fern, mission fig, crushed rosemary, which I'm not sure if that's dried or fresh, and coconut water. And right off the bat, I don't really pick up coconut water, but sometimes that kind of scent note is in there to tie fragrances together and just kind of blend and soften some of the notes. However, there's nothing soft about this fragrance. It's pretty strong. So in my cold sniffs, I said that there's a little hint of a tomato vine component in here. And I would say if you compare the DNA of both scents, there's definitely a little bit of similarity. They share some scent DNA. So what I'm going to joke and say, I think what Orville said was, Heidi, we have tons of tomato vine oil left over from Bring Back My Bar. Let's find a way to use it. So maybe they put a tiny bit in here. I'm just going to kind of jump to an end point. If you made me warm 1 bar of tomato vine or 100 bars of Fiddle Leaf Fig, I would pick 100 bars of Fiddle Leaf Fig and warm through those any day, because tomato vine is my least favorite Scentsy scent I think I've ever smelled. So, and no offense to the tomato vine lovers out there. So please rest assured that once you warm this, it is not totally like tomato vine. But we definitely have fern. I can definitely get a strong green note. Fiddle Leaf Fig, I actually looked it up. Let me read to you what it says. Okay, it says it's a species of flowering plant in the mulberry and fig family. It's native to Western Africa, and it grows in lowland tropical rainforest. It didn't really say a lot what it smelled like. There's definitely an earthy scent to this, a green earthy scent. And then we have crushed rosemary. Now at first I didn't think there was any of that in there, but I think it kind of comes a little bit in a different form. It kind of reads to me a little bit of a fir note, like the tree. So I kind of describe this as the 4 Fs. We've got the fern, and it is strong. We've got the fig for the earthiness, and it is strong. We've got the fir, which my nose is reading from the rosemary. It's kind of reading rosemary like that. And it's got a little bit of funk. I don't know if it's the tomato vine that I'm picking up, but later in the warming, as you warm it, if you go right up to the warmer, it is going to smell funky. Sometimes that doesn't get out into the air as much, but please be careful if you go close to the warmer after it's been warming for about 15, 16 hours, it's going to have a little bit of a funk to it. So how did this do? So I put it in 2 spots. It was very strong, so I thought, let's put it in the open concept area. I had it going there 3 days, which is great for an open concept scent in my opinion. Over 30 hours, 31 hours, I took it out. It still had scent, but I put it all in one warmer. I'm just going to use it as a night light to give a gentle scent. So yeah, still had scent when I removed it. In my bonus room, it is still going, and we're on day 5, and I have to film this video because it goes up later today or tonight. So right now we're in the 47-hour mark, and I'll probably let it go maybe a day or 2 more if it still gets scent, but it is still a good, I would say it's still a good like 5 out of 10 in that room. Now, strength and throw, I forgot to tell you. Bonus room, 8.5 out of 10 maximum. Open concept space, 9 out of 10 maximum. I don't know why it's stronger in my open concept area, but it definitely was. I forgot to mention one thing. At one point in the warming, it really reminded me of green pepper. You know, green peppers. So yeah. So if you like that kind of scent, or if you like a little bit of tomato vine mixed with freshness, fern, green scents, if you kind of like scents like Rainforest Bungalow, this is different, but you may like something like this. You could warm this anywhere. If you're going to warm it in a small room, I would suggest starting with half the amount of wax you're going to normally use, and if you want to, increase it from there. This is a strong scent. Be careful with it. Will this be a repurchase for me? Probably not. It's not that I hated it. I even kind of liked it after a while. It's very fresh, but I just can't see myself reaching for this very often. If I was going to use it anywhere, it would be my youngest child's room, because sometimes his room gets a little funky, and this freshness might kind of help with that. But he did not like it at all. So anyway, that is Fiddle Leaf Fig. Great, great, great performance on that. So let's talk about our third scent this week. It is Blood Orange Spice. Now, this one is also in the new release section, but it's in the spice section. And on cold, it is about a medium intensity fragrance. And on my first cold sniffs, my very gut reaction, I loved this. Then when I did my second video, kind of like my more summarized video, I liked it. And now I don't like it as much. Let me just go over the scent description for you. It says, this sweet tart trio of candied apple, blood orange puree, and cinnamon stick will satisfy your autumn obsession. So yes, this does read like a fall scent to me. Candied apple, I believe those are the apples with the red candy on the outside. And I kind of get a little bit of like a grenadine or pomegranate with that. And I think that's the candy part of the candied apple. The apple, it reminds me of like a fermented apple, like an apple that's starting to break down. That's what it reminds me of. Blood orange puree is another scent note. First off, blood orange would make into a juice. I don't know how they would make that into a puree unless they concentrated and concentrated and concentrated it. And that does kind of read like a concentrated blood orange scent in here. Blood orange is a little bit of a different take on regular orange. I find it very tart, but sweet. It's beautiful. If you've never tried a blood orange, I suggest you give it a try. It is unique. And cinnamon stick. You do get cinnamon in with this. I would say like a medium-ish cinnamon. Not red hot, but not bakery, kind of just like a standard cinnamon. So when I put this in the warmer and I warmed it, it reminded me of something, and I'm picturing things, and this is just the way my brain works. But you know those little apple dolls? They used to take an apple and make the head, and it would be all shrivelly, and they put like little glasses and dress them up. Okay, so that's that's what the apple smelled like a little bit to me. So picture your little apple doll, and she's got 3 glasses in front of her. She's got a little bit of cider. She's got a little bit of like a blood orange, maybe mixed with a little vodka, because it almost has a little tang into it. I know vodka and alcohol sometimes gives it a little high note. And then maybe the third glass would be something like a grenadine or a pomegranate or something like that. I feel like she's got her cider, her spiked vodka spiked blood orange juice, and she's got her pomegranate, and she just dumps everything together, and then that's what you get. You get the funkiness of an apple scent. You get a little bit of an apple cider that's got the cinnamon in it. You get a little bit of the blood orange, or quite a bit, and you get like a candy aspect, which in my nose kind of reads grenadine. You know, like that pretty stuff they put in the drinks, which is actually made from pomegranate, I believe. So that's what I get with this one. So if you like fermented, sweet, tart, candy scents with a medium level of spice, then you're going to love this. I put it in my mudroom laundry room, 1 cube. Strength and throw there was about 7.5, and I left it going 20 hours over 2 days. I did fall asleep, so I'm guesstimating that it lasted 20 hours over 2 days. In my youngest child's room, I put 3 cubes amongst 2 full-size warmers. One is a 12 watt and one is a 25 watt bulb in kind of adjoining rooms. Strength and throw was about 8 out of 10 there. I left it going 2 days, 28 hours. And to be honest, the scent appeal on this went really down for me. I couldn't wait to take it out of the warmer. It just wasn't my thing. I tried to think of scents that it's close to. It's really not. I think it's a very unique scent. But if you like scents like Autumn Sunrise, if you like spiced fruit cider, you may like this. It's very different, but it's in that, kind of like autumn spicy citrus type scent. You could probably warm this anywhere. I think it would do fine in an open concept space. If you wanted to tone it down, that would be a great option. You could add some fruity scents to this if you wanted to kind of bump up the fruit. You could add a vanilla bean or a sugar cookie if you wanted to try to tone down the tart, tangy sweetness. Anyway, would this be a repurchase for me? No. I'm just going to kind of say I liked it initially, then I liked it less. Now I like it even less. If you like it, that is great. It's a pretty solid scent, I find, in terms of strength, and it's pretty long lasting at a pretty high intensity. Then I found it dropped. But I'm kind of wondering if apples and oranges go together the greatest. I don't know. They always say it's like comparing apples and oranges, and they're implying that those are total opposites. So I don't know if that combination works great for me, but anyway, that's Blood Orange Spice. Okay, so let's move on to how voting is going to work this week. We have 3 scents left. So technically, you guys wouldn't have to vote. We have Be Merry, Butter Pecan, and Grapefruit and Grenadine. However, I thought to myself, we have another collection of 3 that maybe people want to hear about. So let's give you guys the option of hearing about the 3 catalog scents, Butter Pecan, Be Merry, Grapefruit and Grenadine, next week. Or do you want me to review the Harvest Delights Wax Collection, which is Apple Cherry Cider, what's this one? Cinnamon Roasted Pear, or Huckberry Apple Pie. So when you vote, it's just one vote this week. You're either going to vote Team Catalog or Team Harvest. Team Catalog, Team Harvest. And whatever we have left over, I'll probably warm the following week. But yeah, so just a little bit of difference this week. If you can't vote here on YouTube, find me on Instagram. It's Patricia Gates. Please vote by Wednesday morning, because if it's after that, I don't count your votes, and it always makes me feel sad and mean. So thanks for spending the last few minutes with me. I hope you guys have a great day in your neck of the woods. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.